Tensions along the Thailand-Cambodia border have escalated sharply since mid-2025, marking the most serious confrontation between the two neighbors in over a decade. The violence began in July when landmine explosions injured Thai soldiers near disputed territory, prompting Thailand to carry out airstrikes and artillery bombardments on Cambodian positions. Both nations mobilized thousands of troops, heavy artillery, and even air and naval assets as skirmishes intensified along the frontier. The conflict displaced thousands of civilians on both sides and raised fears of a full-scale war. After several months of clashes, diplomatic pressure from ASEAN and the international community pushed both countries toward de-escalation. On November 3, 2025, Thailand and Cambodia announced that they had begun withdrawing heavy weapons and initiating demining operations under a new ceasefire agreement. Despite this positive development, the situation remains tense. Sporadic mine explosions and small arms incidents have continued to occur, and both sides have warned that they reserve the right to act in self-defense if hostilities resume. Analysts note that the dispute stems from long-standing disagreements over colonial-era border demarcations, including territory surrounding historic temple sites, and that the fragile truce could collapse if either side perceives renewed provocation. Meanwhile, in Europe, Belarus has been moving closer to a nuclear alert posture in coordination with Russia, raising alarm across NATO member states. In recent months, Belarus hosted joint Russian-Belarusian military exercises that rehearsed the use of tactical nuclear weapons, confirming that such weapons are now stationed on Belarusian territory. President Alexander Lukashenko has boasted that the country's nuclear systems are ready and modernized, while preparations continue to deploy the Oreshnik hypersonic missile system, which is capable of carrying nuclear warheads. The system is expected to enter combat readiness by December 2025. Although no official declaration of a high alert has been issued, Western intelligence sources report that Belarus' nuclear infrastructure is being upgraded and that launch protocols have been rehearsed. These moves signal a significant escalation in regional tensions, effectively bringing nuclear-capable assets closer to NATO borders. Western governments have condemned the exercises as destabilizing and warned of the growing risk of miscalculation or accidental escalation in Eastern Europe. In summary, the world is witnessing simultaneous regional flashpoints with potentially global consequences, a volatile military standoff in Southeast Asia and a renewed nuclear threat emerging in Eastern Europe. While Thailand and Cambodia appear to be cautiously stepping back from open conflict, the underlying disputes remain unresolved. In contrast, Belarus' increasingly aggressive nuclear posture reflects a deepening divide between Russia's allies and the West. Together, these developments illustrate how multiple regional crises are contributing to a broader climate of geopolitical instability and military tension worldwide. Both crises underscore the fragility of current international security frameworks and the growing limits of diplomatic containment. In Southeast Asia, the Thailand-Cambodia conflict has tested ASEAN's capacity to manage regional disputes without outside intervention. Analysts warn that if either country perceives the ceasefire as disadvantageous, the border could once again erupt into violence, potentially drawing in neighboring states. Humanitarian agencies have already warned of worsening displacement and food shortages in affected areas, emphasizing the need for sustained peacebuilding efforts and international monitoring. In Europe, Belarus' nuclear brinkmanship continues to heighten anxiety, as even symbolic escalations could trigger counter-responses from NATO, setting off a new phase of Cold War-style deterrence. Ultimately, these developments reflect a world edging closer to multipolar instability, where local conflicts and regional power plays carry increasingly global repercussions. The twin crises, one in Asia, one in Europe, illustrate how fragile borders and renewed militarization threaten to undo years of diplomatic progress. Whether through ASEAN's mediation in Southeast Asia or renewed arms control talks between Russia and the West, de-escalation will depend on sustained international engagement and restraint from all parties. For now, the situation remains tense but not yet irreversible, a reminder that diplomacy, though strained, remains the world's last line of defense against a slide into wider conflict.